It's Jessica Plamondon with Royal LePage Atlantic and FRABA, the Fall River and Area Business Association. And I am so pleased to be interviewing Tyler MacNeil. Tyler and I actually became quite close this year when we did a seniors luncheon. So we got together, we made turkey chili for the seniors, and we gave a presentation at the LWF Fire Hall to our local seniors. So it was great spending some time with him. And I know so many people must have a million questions about mortgages. So Tyler MacNeil, Tyler's email is tyler.mcneil@premiermortgage.ca. His position is a mortgage broker associate. Their address is 3301 Highway 2, Suite 203. That is in the subway building upstairs. His phone number is 902-225-6588. And his business category is financial services. So welcome, Tyler.
Thanks, Jessica. Thanks for having me.
Thanks for joining me. So I'll get you to take a moment to describe your business.
So our business is we're a full service mortgage brokerage. So focusing on residential mortgages primarily. We have access to multiple different lenders that offer tailored solutions to clients. So we don't have a one fit size all scenario that you may get into a situation at a bank that might get some challenges. So it's nice to be able to have different options for folks with different circumstances. If they have some, for example, they have credit issues, we may have a lender to be able to work with them versus a traditional bank. But yeah, we have lots of options that are out there, from prime lending, meaning you have your big banks and many financing companies, and of course then we have alternative options as well for folks that are struggling a little bit. But yeah, so we're a full service unit. We're here in Fall River. We actually, we actually just posted a sign up on the highway when you're driving by our building here now. So for the current best rates in the marketplace that are posted, so people in Fall River will be able to see that. I think we have a listed rate on there. We'll continue to update that if things have changed. So if people need any help, certainly give us a call.
What's the rate right now?
So standard across the board on an insured mortgage, we're looking at a 5.84% 5-year fixed rate. Okay. And a variable, you can get a prime -1 at this point.
Okay, fantastic. And before we get into it, real quick, do you want to give your 2 cents on the stress test?
Well, so
what is it? Who's it affecting? And
it affects everyone. So the stress test, when you're purchasing a home, whatever the contract rate, so let's just use that 5.84% interest rate, for example. So when you're qualifying for a mortgage, we have to add 2% on top of that rate. So you're looking at a 7.84% rate when you're qualifying for a mortgage. Not saying that's going to be your payment, but that's what we have to use to qualify the mortgage itself for approval. You know what? Like, a lot of people in the industry get tangled up on it, but really it has protected a lot of Canadians, and especially in the last year and a half here with rising rates. If we didn't have that stress test in place for affordability, I think we would be it would be even worse struggle for some folks right now, right? So other piece with stress testing,
when they put it in when the rates were really low, but now that the rates are really high and people are having to qualify,
I know it's tough.
7.84, it's kind of insane.
It is insane. So we do have, we do have some changes though for people that are up for renewal. If their mortgage is actually insured and they're up for renewal, we can do a straight transfer now with the contract rate. So they made a change on that just recently, just announced, like right off the presses here the last week. So
okay, thank God, because that's what's really hurting people right now. From what I'm hearing on the
big time, yeah. Refinancing, if you're taking equity out to pay out debt, you'll still be under the stress test. But if you're just transferring your mortgage, keeping everything the same and it's insured, we can use the contract rate. So I've heard some stories from folks that are, their mortgage is up for renewal, they no longer qualify, they have to go alternative. All those stories were there, but at least now, if they have the ability to do a transfer at the contract rate, will help a lot of people as well.
All right, awesome. Thank you for that. Now,
no
I guess going back to the beginnings, what made you decide to get into the financial services sector?
Well, I think that's a tough question, but you know what? I was at home at Thanksgiving in Cape Breton, and my uncle was up having Thanksgiving dinner with us, and he's like, Tyler, do you remember when you came to visit me in Toronto when you were a kid? And I was probably about 10 or 11 years old, and I guess I was really impressed with like Bay Street, the financial district, the bustle and the hustle. I don't remember any of that, but he was just kind of like, impressed. Like it's hard to believe all these years later, you're in the financial business. And he felt like that's where I kind of got my start of my energy when I was a kid, looking at all that. Even though all I was concerned back then was playing hockey and baseball, but I guess at the time I was pretty wowed by the big buildings, the busyness, and so on. But from there, I was always interested in finance as a kid growing up, and involved in university. Took a finance background, and then of course my first job was out in Western Canada with a big bank when I graduated school in Alberta, and served the northern communities in Alberta for 7 or 8 years, and have been back here in Nova Scotia for about 10 now. So
Nice. It's
yeah,
so funny. I'm having my own childhood memory of downtown Toronto and the Royal Bank of Canada, that big
yeah,
old tower. Just
yeah.
it was very impressive, very
It's
impressive.
pretty impressive. Yeah, I was in Scotia Tower. That's the Scotiabank Plaza where I was at, and that's funny. That's where I ended up working for many years, and so it's kind of funny how things work. And they gave me my student loan, so they got my start. So I gotta give props to them for sure.
Nice, right on. Now, okay, so what would you say, because you're a business owner now, it's very different from being an employee. So what motivates you to get up and get going? Especially in 2023, it's a very different financial year for most of us. So what gets you out of bed every morning?
For me, motivation is very easy. I just look at my two young kids. I have a young family, and that gets me up every day. I work hard for them. I feel like I'm kind of a self-made person. Went to school, worked hard. Of course, my parents supported me all the way through, but financially getting out the door and getting started was a little bit different. So I'm trying to build something from them, and so their lives will be a little bit easier when they get older, and leave them some sort of legacy behind as well. I know, super. My parents were super supportive of me when I was a kid growing up, and they still are. They're probably my biggest cheerleaders, but I like to be able to help them out, and you know, even more than what my parents was able to help me. So they're my motivation every day to be successful.
Nice. You are such a good dad, good family guy. What would you say has surprised you the most about being a business owner?
Oh, the biggest thing being a business owner for me is, very good at functionality, doing what you're doing your job. You're good at, working with folks one-on-one with people, but it's about working on your business. Something that I've learned the last couple of years. It's not just, you know, work doing the job and funding mortgages and seeing people's scenarios, is actually physically working on your business and trying to grow it. So that could be from social media, which I'm terrible at. Could be marketing. It could, the marketing aspect for a magazine, or doing videos like this with yourself. Accounting aspects. Like there's so much more to running a business than just doing the day-to-day operations, what you're good at. So it's really important to get stronger and work in those avenues, and be okay to admit that you don't know what you're doing, and ask for help, right?
Yep.
So there's so many, like, and I know here in Fall River there's so many different different businesses, and that they have nothing to do what I do, but we all struggle with a lot of the same things. So I find it's really nice to get like-minded people, people that have been in business for a long time, listen to their stories, learn from them. I think that's the biggest like tips I can tell people that they're starting their own business. Like, lean
And
on
where better to find them than the Fall River and Area Business Association?
100%, 100%, lean on folks, right? And they'll be more than happy to share, right?
Yeah.
So people that are in business, they love talking about their business and love to be able to help other people. So
100%. Yeah. And on that note, I'm just going to give a real quick plug for the Fall River and Area Business Association for the continuing
mhm.
education courses that we do provide for our members. They're free of charge for all of our members. And right now we actually have a marketing course going on right now that I'm attending, because it's just great to get back to basics, right? And of course, spend some
Absolutely.
time with business owners in the community. So check out our next course. I think we've got another course starting up in January, and then another in the spring for
Oh,
productivity.
that'll be good.
All right. So I would also like to, okay, so if you could walk me through some examples of what most people wouldn't know about about your business? Like, what, any surprises in your business? Because one of the things that I find quite surprising when I'm interviewing a client, one of my duties is to make sure that they have financing in place, and if they don't have it in place, help them get set up. But I'm finding that some people don't want to share that information, or they think that that just starting a conversation or starting the process will affect their credit rating. So maybe you could give some insight into that.
Yeah, for sure. So the process itself, you know, when I sit down with people, I like call it a discovery meeting or a strategy meeting, is to have a conversation. Having a conversation doesn't hurt anybody. So it's not about getting an application started hitting your credit bureau. Excuse me. The only time that, you know, when you get financial institutions or independent brokers or agents, you have to sign a consent to pull credit. I always like we sign a consent, we have to go through some documentation with disclosure. Then I always verbally go talk to clients, are we ready to move forward with your application or not? And we pull credit. And then we review the credit report. It's really important. What I think you're getting to is we get a lot of folks that are searching for property out there that are just there's a lot of online calculators for pre-qualifying, and this gives you, okay, this is your maximum affordable, but there's a lot of more factors that go into building a pre-approval. And it's so important to sit down with a professional, mortgage professional, or sit down with the mortgage specialist at a bank, whoever you want to work with. But it's really important to go. What they're going to ask for is reviewing all your income documentation. They're going to review your credit, and at the very end, they'll be able to secure what we call a rate hold in place for you for 120 days, and have that rate secured. And then it's then you're ready to go shopping. Then you're confident looking at properties.
Yeah, fantastic. Yeah. So pre-approval, if you can't give me the name of the person who pre-approved you, you're not pre-approved.
Absolutely.
That's basically my bottom line.
Absolutely. And there's a lot of, there's a lot of companies now, like there's the Quest Mortgage that's online for Quest Trade, Nesto, trying to name, there's a few of those online service ones out there now, but you lose that personal touch. So it's not, it basically at the end of the day is the data you're putting in it has to be good. If it's not good, garbage in, garbage out, the way to look at it, right? It's not going to work. It has to be accurate. If it's not accurate, you're setting yourself up for failure. So, and you don't want that to happen.
Well, thank you for that. So what are some of your goals for the next year? As a lot of us are sitting down looking at our 2024, what are some of Tyler MacNeil's of Premier Mortgages goals for 2024?
So some of my goals this year is, like I'm trying to obviously want to grow my business, but I'm trying to set up more contact with folks. I feel like you're always working with individuals who are trying to get the market's still fairly busy here in Nova Scotia, which is great. We've been fortunate in our business that way. Other parts of the country, not so much. They've been struggling a little bit, but it's just want to continue to grow, but most importantly, be able to look back, continue to connect with people I worked with in the past. They're all so important. I really want to continue to feel connected with those folks. So I'm trying to build a system automatically that's just kind of automatic touch bases with people, just to say hello, see how they're feeling, newsletters, this stuff like that. I have a bunch of different ideas that I want to launch. This automatic information that's going to be going out to people just to, so they, know that I'm still there and available to help them. So.
Lovely. Well, it's been great working with you on the Fall River and Area Business Association board, Tyler, or volunteering, I should say. Great working with you, and I wish you a very successful 2024.
Yeah, you too, Jessica. Thanks for having me on this morning. It's been fun.
Awesome.
All right.
Have a great day.